The man twisted the handlebars, flipping his bike's grips upward. He hadn't expected that just adjusting his position to lean forward would let him breeze past the competitor who'd been ahead of him the whole time. When his rival asked how he'd suddenly gotten so fast, the man just smiled knowingly. A bold idea was already taking shape in his mind. He rushed home and immediately tore apart his washing machine, pulling out the high-speed bearings inside. Then he welded and pieced together various scraps of metal until he'd assembled a bizarre-looking bicycle. His friends all thought it was just a joke, but after taking it for a joyride, he made up his mind. He was going to use this bike to break the world record for the furthest distance cycled in 1 hour. When his friends heard this, they fell silent. Eventually, he turned to his best friend Joey, asking him to help find a venue for the attempt. Soon enough, challenge day arrived. Just as he showed up with his homemade bike ready to take on the record, Joey surprised him. To ensure his safety, Joey had convinced a sponsor to build a professional-grade bicycle with the exact same design as his DIY version. He tapped the frame lightly and immediately noticed this bike was much heavier than his homemade one. But his friend wanted him to use this safer bike for the race, putting him in a real bind. Not wanting to let Joey down, he ultimately decided to go with the professional bike. As the referee's countdown ended, the race officially began. He pushed himself to the limit, pedaling with everything he had. To break the world record, he needed to complete 205 laps in 1 hour, but this unfamiliar professional bike quickly drained his energy. Soaked in sweat, he was in absolute agony. His wife noticed something was wrong but could only cheer him on from the stands. With just 5 minutes left, everyone knew he wasn't going to break the record. The previous record holder smiled and shook hands with the race director. When the hour mark bell rang, he was 3 laps short of the world record. He ran straight to the race organizers and, driven by his dream, begged for one more chance. His friend Joey was consumed with guilt. Maybe it was that unfamiliar professional bike that had caused his friend's failure. So Joey stayed up all night, taking apart both bicycles and reassembling their components into a new bike. When the man woke up and saw this new creation, he silently vowed not to let his friend and wife down again. Then he started the race in that unique riding position. This time he shot forward like lightning. Witnessing his incredible speed, even the association chairman, who'd previously scoffed at his weird riding position, was left stunned. Soon the intense effort made his vision blur, and all sounds became muffled. All he could hear were the encouraging shouts from his wife and friends echoing in his ears. The former world record holder realized he'd entered a flow state and couldn't contain his own excitement, cheering him on. At this point, he had no choice but to keep accelerating forward. After what felt like forever, the final lap gun sounded, meaning he was just 1 lap away from the world record. His body seemed to be telling him he'd reached his limit, but his mind had only one thought: keep going. All he could hear was the wind rushing past his ears. He gritted his teeth, fighting through the pain, and kept sprinting. Finally, he succeeded in breaking the world record that had stood for 8 years. The entire venue erupted, bursting into thunderous celebration. The sponsor kept their promise and awarded him $400,000 in prize money. Have you ever fought this hard to achieve your own goals? Follow me to watch more amazing movie clips.